Welcome, all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. My name is Maria Koper, and today I want to tell you about a very special book called War of Our Time. And we are talking about the stories of Ukrainian refugees who found aid and shelter here in Warsaw, in Poland, on Łazienkowska 14th Street, in the shelter created by Foundation Through the Eyes of Heaven. And with me in the studio is one of the co-authors of this book, Tomasz Piechal. Tomasz, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for the invitation.
You are an expert on this topic and the field of the Eastern politics, and especially Ukraine. And you are the co-author of author of two chapters in this book. One of them about Tatiana, and the other one about Anastasia, and a woman who was left in the territories which were very quickly occupied by the Russian soldiers. Tell us, just in few words, maybe, what happened there?
She was there with her family and her dogs, and that was a big surprise for them that the war began, and they were completely unprepared for it. So really quick, really fast, they started to have a problem with the food. They started to starving, and there was one moment when they received the information that there is the possibility to find some food in the village, because their house was at the edge of the village, not at the center. Tatiana decided to go to this shop, which was completely robbed by Russian soldiers. There was not much food left there, but there was something, some water. She take 2 bags of this supply for her and her family. And when she was walking back to her house, that was already the end of the day. There was that darkness, and there was no electricity then in this village, so there was no light.
And she was also very hungry, let's say.
She was really hungry. She was starving then, really exhausted, because that was already after a couple of days of living under that kind of circumstances. And when she was at her road back to home, there was the Russian tanks crossing the village, and one of this tank hit her. That's some kind of miracle that she still alive, because she was hit by the tank.
She was hit and went through it, but
yes,
drove through, like over her.
Fortunately, she was not. She has some broken bones, but not completely crushed. That she was in this completely horrible situation. She has a lot of luck, and that was the beginning of this story, because there was much more of experience, because when she came back to home, of course, she needed to recover herself, but that was also the moment when already the Russian soldiers started to build some kind of camp near to their house. So she has already a lot of experiences with communication with these Russian soldiers, because many of them, they just try to talk to someone from this village, and they share their emotion, they share their personal stories as well. But that, as she said to me, of course, it was impossible in that moment to not talk to the guy who stands next to you with the rifle, and who most of them were really drunk. So you have the drunk guy with the rifle who tried to tell you his story and share his emotions. You have to do this, but you have to play also to in this situation. And that's what she said when she's sharing her story. This was the really surrealistic experience, but also the experience of being alive and being dead at the same time, dead inside, because your one bad sentence, which you can say, or even one step in wrong direction could end with the shot, for example, yes, because that was completely hard to understand what these Russian soldiers could do.
And we put
especially
a
when
point here, we don't say even more. So, of course, the viewers should definitely read it. But for me, this moment, very emotional one, and is to realize the fact that she had pets. So she had those dogs at home, and she couldn't feed her and her puppies. And suddenly, the fact that the home raised dog is going for a hunt away to the forest and bring something for her puppies, that is already very scary, and showing the fact how quickly the realities of our life can change. But this is to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. This is one of the stories of the Ukrainian refugees which eventually found aid here in Warsaw in Poland on the Łazienkowska 14th Street in the shelter for mother and children, which is in the basement of the church run by the foundation Oczami Nieba, through the eyes of heaven.
First of all, it's important because this war is still ongoing, and there's still a lot of people who are deciding to run away and from the Ukraine, yes, and to try to find a other life, to start the other life in different countries. So this is not this book. It's not about the past. It's about the present time, and it would be, unfortunately, in my opinion, for many months or maybe years, still actual, because that what I have seen there, it was the great place with good atmosphere of giving to the people in really tragic moment of their life, giving them the space for rest, the space for think about what they would have to do. And it's really important to be with them, because it's many times you have the situation when the people are that's the first time for them to have some rest after many hours of many days and of travel. But very often also for very many months or weeks of being in the really bad situation at the front line, for example, or at the city which is close to the front line. So they...
Or hidden somewhere in the subway.
Yeah. Also, or they were at this part of the Ukraine which is under the Russian control right now. So for them, for many of them, this is the first time of relief, of the rest. And it's important to support that kind of places, because for now it's the only place in Warsaw
existing
which works
and
like
still
that.
open, and just freely, without any charge, taking people so they can rest, they can wash themselves, they can have a proper sleep. They can pack, they receive also luggages, and there is a full meals.
That's what I would say, what is really important about exactly this point of aid, let's say, is that there was a lot of that kind of places at the beginning of the war, or there was a lot of people who were trying to help Ukrainians like that at the beginning of the war. But after the couple of months, many people already helped, and they didn't have more even ideas or the power to support them in that kind of way. But this shelter, it's still working. And it's amazing that for many months there are so many people who decided to somehow change their lives, to give the part of their life to the other people.
Absolutely, and I support this topic as well. And of course, to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily, if you would like to somehow help the shelter on Łazienkowska 14th Street, which is run by the foundation Through the Eyes of Heaven. It is the last place like this in Warsaw. That's why it needs your help and it needs your support. So if you can do it, then the foundation For the Eyes of Heaven. And to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture, I'm extremely happy for you to share this information and this book. And definitely, if you are able, then please read it. And thank you for watching our show.